America Natividad outside of the Durham Regional Courthouse in Oshawa, where today a 27-year-old Pickering man was sentenced in the killing of his wife, who was 9 months pregnant with their child. Nicholas Baig got life in prison with no chance of parole for 17 years. On April 7, 2017, 26-year-old Ariana Goberdan was found murdered in the bedroom of her husband's home where he lived with his parents. Her daughter, whom she'd already named Asara, died with her. Though under Canadian law, the unborn child isn't recognized as a separate victim, and Baig was not charged with her murder. According to the agreed statement of facts, Goberdan visited the home that night around 6:30 and hours later called 911 terrified. It was immediately after that call that Baig stabbed Goberdan to death. She sustained 17 stab wounds, 7 to her torso, 7 in the head and neck, and 3 in her arm.
And it was such a violent act. Like, this is the only time my husband and I actually knew what took place that night. And it was so violent. And to think that, is this how we're going to deter and stop domestic violence?
Court heard that Baig and Goberdan had a tumultuous relationship. They married after she became pregnant, though the relationship quickly deteriorated. Goberdan had sent her father screen captures of numerous disturbing text messages she had received from Baig, one shockingly stating, "I hope you die delivering."
She was my only sister. That was my only niece. She came to me for everything. I tried to help her as much as I can, but she just told me, I can help him, I can save him.
She worked at the YWCA in St. Catharines throughout her years at Brock University, and so she knew firsthand what domestic violence is about, and she knew what she was facing. But I guess for her, as Carissa is saying, that she thought that she could change him. And really, in situations like these, you cannot. You have to leave.
In January, Baig pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. In reading her sentence, Justice Spire noted the guilty plea was only entered, quote, 2 years after the commission of the crime and in the face of overwhelming evidence, saying a longer period of parole ineligibility would have been warranted had he not pleaded guilty to the crime.
I think it's a gap in the law, and I think that, quite frankly, this is the government's job to fix that gap.
This morning, 27-year-old Nicholas Baig was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 17 years. The Pickering native pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the stabbing death of his wife, Ariana Goberdan. At the time, Goberdan was 9 months pregnant with their daughter, whom she'd already named Asara. Baig is serving his sentence for the death of his wife only. Under Canadian law, an unborn child isn't recognized as a separate victim. But Goberdan's family say the pain of losing a child just weeks away from being born is excruciating and are petitioning the federal government to change the law.
End domestic violence now. Break the silence now.
It's being championed by one of the MPs who's going to bring it to the House of Commons and is going to introduce this as a bill. Right? This has nothing to do with a woman's right to choose or not to choose ultimately in terms of what she'd like to do. This is about a person who is committing a crime and during the commission of that crime injures and or murders a preborn child.
Now, in terms of where a line could be drawn with how far along a woman is in her pregnancy, Pettinelli says that will be up to lawmakers to decide. Goberdan was just 20 days away from giving birth when her life was taken. In Oshawa, Erica Natividad, City News.